Misfits. We're back in the ring to take another swing after a couple of weeks away. What's it been? About 2-3 weeks, hasn't it, boys? It's been a while. It feels like it's been ages.
I don't. It's all a blur now. I've got no idea.
Yeah, well, it is a bit like that. Padre, you've been away for ages anyway because you've been off gallivanting
Yeah,
Maurice. And
spreading the word.
yeah, and we've lost the voice of reason this week. I think he's at fucking Marvel camp or something. But we do have some guests, some wonderful, wonderful guests. We're joined by Tom and Jammie, 2/3 collectively known as Goat Major. Released debut album earlier this year on Ripple Music, Ritual, which we absolutely fucking love. So it only made sense to get them on and have a bit of a talk about it. So evening, gents, and
how you
thank you
doing?
for joining us.
Hey,
Thanks for taking out your Friday night.
No problem whatsoever, man. It's cool.
It looks like you're sat in a restaurant or something.
No, it's it's a home studio come dining room at Christmas.
It looks like a restaurant out of The Sopranos or something like that. About to get gunned down, but
that would be cool.
You guys all good?
Yeah. We've had a good week. Had some rehearsals for a show on the weekend, and we've been working on the last two tracks of the follow-up album to Ritual. So we're in a good place.
That's a bit keen. And we're hearing this more and more now that bands are just straight away writing another album and getting it on.
Yeah. It's we didn't really stop. I think we just kept going, didn't we?
Yeah. Like once Ritual was done, we just carried on writing songs, and yeah, it's going good, man.
It's a youthful hunger and exuberance, isn't it? You're starting out. Look, for those who don't know who you guys are, give us a bit of an idea of who Goat Major are and what you're all about, what you do, all that kind of jazz.
Well, we're a band based in West Wales, in Pembrokeshire. The
Nice
three of
part
us
of the world.
we're all from Pembrokeshire originally. We've gone our own ways and played in different bands, and now we've all ended up settling back down here. And this is kind of like our project, basically our creative output, with the music that we really like to listen to.
Because you guys go back a fair few years, don't it? The couple of bios that I've read about you go back sort of 20 odd years. Is that right?
Yeah. So Jammie used to play in Blacktooth, didn't you, Jam?
Yeah. Well, me and Simon, we both played in Blacktooth. Well, this was about fucking hell, early 2000s, I think that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've known each other for since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
The beginning of our time, anyway.
Yeah.
That's a long time, especially in Wales as well. That's a long time.
I think me and Jammie went to the same primary school, but we didn't know each other. I think he's a couple of years older, but I'm sure I can remember his Guns N' Roses merch on their non-uniform.
He was the cool kid with the Guns N' Roses merch. Yeah. That's fair. So what? So you guys have known each other for that long, but you were never in bands together. Then this is a recent thing.
Yeah, I was in a band with Simon. Well, I played like touring bass on it. He was one of the original members of a band called Hark, and they had some good success on Seasons of Mist.
Okay.
And in the later years, I joined to tour with them. But apart from that, we were never in any other projects apart from this one.
Yeah.
So what was the catalyst then? You say so that all that time spent kind of orbiting around each other, playing in different bands. What was the catalyst that brought you together as Goat Major?
It was pretty much like a COVID lockdown band. Yeah. 'Cause myself and Simon, we both work in the same hospital, so like we'd see each other and work all the time. And we were like just chatting one day and decided to have a jam. And then we just went from there. And Tom came on board. Mm-hmm. And that was pretty much how it all began, really, for Goat Major.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you have like material written before that? Or did you just come in, like hit the ground running, everything's new and fresh? Or were you working on stuff that maybe you'd had from previous projects or, just kicking around in the vaults?
Pretty much... Well, like I had a lot of riffs, like a lot of ideas, but hadn't really jammed them with anybody before. And we just worked on them and just went from there.
Yeah, yeah. I think when I came, you had a couple of songs that you were like jamming together, and obviously then I just started to play the bass over it. And then as we got to more, opportunities to put in with the three of us together, then we all just started to write pretty much equally, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a great time, man, because like no one knew what we were doing.
No.
And it was like our little thing that nobody fucking knew about.
Yeah. And we had no expectations of it was literally just like, this is great to play our amps loud, basically. Yeah. And just something creative output. We intended to probably do a gig with it, maybe.
Yeah.
But it just became part of our daily lives quite easily, really. Our weekly lives then,
The COVID thing was mad, really. There was loads of people doing really cool stuff online and in beds, loads of, getting together, just making music, having some fun. And I think in the last sort of couple of years, we've seen the fruits of the labor. There's loads of great music that come out of all of that, and the live scenes come back to life and all that. So I suppose, if you get something positive out of it, then it's fucking great.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But I guess it depends on your experiences, but it was quite different out here in Pembrokeshire. I was out in the sticks, and Jammie and Simon were both working in the hospital, so it was quite different. But we had the space where we could, meet up and socially distance and everything like that, and that was a real godsend, actually, to have the space to do it. So it wasn't like over the internet. It was, we got our equipment and it's going to be loud. Doesn't matter how far away we are apart. Drums are drums.
I can imagine, like you say, working in a hospital like through COVID, that must have been really stressful. So I can only imagine just the making music was like a huge catharsis.
Yeah. It was like the only thing you pretty much had to look forward to. It was just like every time we got together to have a jam.
Yeah.
But it hasn't actually been that long, really, since when all the dust settled on COVID, and now you guys, you've got your debut album out, signed to Ripple. So describe that journey from the little project that was just kind of your thing. How did that evolve to here you are?
We started to just do our own little recordings with like a room mic, didn't we?
Yeah. We just done some demos, and they sounded great.
Yeah, they're like they always do. That they get like, we got it to sound really, really cool. And then as the COVID started to lift and some places started to open up to do some shows, we kind of thought, hey, let's just take this and see what, see our friends again, just get our friends to come to the show and just have like a bit of a boogie, because that was all a bit weird, really. It was weird. And we kind of thought, well, this has got legs, I think. Let's record it. Let's get it down. And also, it's really fun to do, I think, yeah.
So where did Ripple Music come into play with this then? Because in all fairness, fucking great label. They put out some absolutely awesome stuff. So you guys be able to work with them, that must be really cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, totally. But we had the album that was done and finished, and we weren't quite sure what we were going to do with it. We were talking about maybe doing a self-release and things like that. And but it was actually Fieldy from APF Records that he recommended Ripple. So we just got hold of them, sent him the album, and we didn't think we'd get a reply, but
no.
We did, and fucking, it's great, The
rest is history.
Yeah.
And it was quite intense, actually, waiting for their emails, because obviously they're in America and they're only going to be emailing you in the night, and you're like sending your email before you go to bed and wake up the next day. It's like, we got a reply. It's like, yes, when you're in work, and it just, you're just doing your normal jobs and work, and you think, gosh, this is a bit bonkers here. They might actually do a real release for us. even if it's on Spotify, that would be cool, or YouTube, that would be pretty good. But they said we really like it, but you'll have to wait. Where their roster was like full up,
Yeah.
Right.
so we sat on it for nearly a year, didn't we?
Yeah, which was pretty much a blessing in disguise, really, because we was able to like put ourselves out there a bit more during that period.
Yeah,
Right.
get our sharpen our craft a bit more, but basically as well for the live shows, because I'd never done vocals before, and I found it was quite tricky, but every show felt like more and more getting confidence up, and just honing our live shows really, so that when it did come out, we were all ready to hit the pitch.
Well, I mean, fair play if you've never done vocals before, sound fucking great. So,
thank you.
Kudos to you, man. Absolutely. It's that we I think we picked up on one of the singles or whatever it was. Was it late last year, Bean, wasn't it?
When Evil Eye came out, that kind of was one we were sharing
was it?
amongst ourselves. Everyone was getting a message
nice.
that's like, check this out.
Yeah.
Sounded great off the bat. Seriously, really good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we were both quite excited for the album, and then to see that it's coming out on Ripple and it's vinyl as well, and it's just like all the things you want these days. It's fucking great.
You talked about so obviously before that process, emailing Ripple and that. You said the album was in the can. So was it self-recorded? You mentioned doing some self-recording in the demos. What were the actual sessions for the album like? Because it sounds huge. It's got this great huge, the whole thing just sounds massive, and I love it. So cool. Tell us about the sessions. How did you put it all down?
It was actually it was our mate's home studio.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got like all the gear.
They got nice preamps and like nice mics. And it's in the middle of nowhere, in the Welsh countryside. It's a nice place to just work on something, isn't it?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and we spent a day tracking the drums, and we were playing alongside it just as like demo recordings. I believe. I think there was a problem with the saving of the files, or I think a microphone on a snare wasn't connected, and it was only realized at the end of the day. So Tom, who was recording the producing, he said, look, we basically got an hour to do this in. I'm going to leave the room. Do you reckon you can knock out all the songs in one take for the drums? Wow. So that's all we did. And I think that energy does come across. After a day of going through it, it was like, right, the screw's being turned here. We really have to step it up. And if we any mistakes or whatever on the drum, there wasn't any. I don't think there was any correction, but that really came across. And playing to no click as well. That was like our one thing that we really wanted. Get the tempos slow where they need to be, really drag it, and then try and match that with the guitars in the later session.
That's fucking cool. That's really cool. Sometimes though, the best results come out of a bit of adversity, doesn't it? So. And like you say, just putting all that energy into it, and you can hear it. You can hear it coming through on the album. It just, like Bean said, it just sounds massive. It's in your face and it hits really hard, which that's half the battle these days.
Yeah. And our friend Joe produced it. He's an amazing musician. When I played with bands, I played in a band called Intensive Square with him, and he also played guitar in Hark. And he plays guitar in Lurcher. He's got like a really good ear for the production side of it, and I think it sounds quite fuller and warmer than we'd expect it to sound, which has really worked in our favor. It sounds good in the car, sounds good on the headphones.
Definitely sounds good in the car. It's a great car.
Cool. Yeah. So can't thank him enough for sorting us out with that.
Managed to get it on vinyl as well, which, like I said, is wicked. I mean, these days, it's great to see so much coming out on vinyl. What was the challenges involved in that? Because, like you say, you had to wait for Ripple because their roster was full, and vinyl these days is taking an age and a day to get pressed, isn't it? So, were there any challenges involved in that? Would you have rather got it out sooner digitally and then waited for the vinyl, maybe, or?
We're pretty much happy with how it all panned out. You know, to have it on vinyl was great. You know, we didn't think, like when we recorded it, we didn't think it'd be coming out on vinyl. So yeah, it was definitely worth the wait.
Yeah, definitely worth the wait. And I don't think the wait was because it was already in the can. It was done.
Yeah.
It was kind of like here's the files. Now we've got a bit more time to concentrate on the artwork side of it, the marketing side of it, and like I said, honing our live skills a bit better. So that when that's rolling on behind the scenes, I think that was key to it. Is like never stopping working on something.
Yeah.
Or always just there's something else to jump onto.
Yeah.
And
you
I think
mentioned
that was a skill in itself that we had to like kind of look at because we never actually done it before, so like fully like that.
Right. I mean, it's great. And one of the things I wanted to touch on, you just mentioned it there, was the artwork. Because obviously, one of the advantages of having a nice piece of vinyl is you get all that gorgeous artwork, 12 inches of it. And Evil Eye and Ritual both have really striking covers. Love them both. So, how much part did you have to play in all of that? Do you know the artist? What can you tell us?
Yeah, he's sitting right next to me.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I enjoy doing, like, quite creative person. I enjoy doing art. I studied art at college, and it's something that I'm always tinkering around with in the background, whether it be on Photoshop or sketching, and then mixing the both, which is what we did for the Evil Eye. Once again, learning some new skills, and when you've got you've got nothing on the main hob, so to speak, it's good to go right, jump into that. Let's work on that for a bit. If you want to have a break from lyrics or something like that. But yeah, it was a challenge to do. Many drafts and everything of stuff, but just trying to work out what do we want people to see in them, to see when they represent in our band, and I think it comes across quite well.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'd say is we talk about the the kind of large scale 12-inch vinyl covers, but at the other end of the spectrum, when you're kind of scrolling through Spotify and you're just seeing these little thumbnails go past, equally the stuff you're putting out stands out.
One of the aspects I didn't actually think about before, because I drive an old van, was seeing the artwork like in my girlfriend's car. And like, when I started seeing that, I was like, oh man, this is really important, because it's going to be everywhere, and you realize how important the artwork really is for stuff like that. It's not just like sitting on a shelf. It's in the car with you. It's like on your phone as you're commuting, things like that. So it needed to be impacting, didn't it?
Yeah. It definitely stands out.
Yeah, and the ideas for it, we'd all just chip in. It wasn't just like, here we are, boys, I've done it. It was, here's a draft, or no, that might looks a bit like this, or this could look a bit that, wasn't it? So it was always feedback on everything. It was always back and forth until we just really honed it down.
Do you think that 'cause I'm assuming you guys are sort of a similar kind of age to us. Do you think that you all sort of knocked about in bands before for a few years? Do you think you've learned from all of that, and where you are now puts you in a better position to sort of move forward as a band? You just make, I don't know, more rational decisions maybe when you're not in your early 20s anymore.
Yeah.
I think it definitely does. And not so much for like Simon seems to know a bit more about the industry and things like that from his dealings with Season of Mist, and etc. But for me and Jammie, for me personally, it was a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah, definitely.
And sorry, Dan.
I picked up like so much from Tom and Simon just from them being in Hark.
Yeah,
and you just bounce off each other, and we're always in like constant communication with each other about things, and so it's pretty much like the whole sort of the three of us.
Yeah. And it's because we're all similar age, but I don't really think. I think that the common thing that we have is that we probably have the same amount of experience of being in rooms with people, and how that situation. A lot of people don't realize how like important that can be. Just like shutting up, when do you know what I mean? And like accepting that, yeah, we're going to do that. It is democracy at the end of the day, and I think we all target the right things. Jammie's very good at the social media type thing. I like to handle the artwork or the t-shirts, and Simon's like very practical at song and song composition. So we all give ourselves a bit of space with those things, don't we? I think.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Jammie's amazing at riffs, mainly. That should have said that first. But
he got plenty of riffs. There's no doubt about that.
And I think the age thing might play in. It's probably more wise where you can make decisions.
Yeah.
But also you realise that you're writing it for yourselves. Really, I think you're if people like it, that is really cool and really appreciate it. Yeah. But we have a great time doing it, don't we? It's just the songs that you wish that other bands had written, maybe, or the riffs. It really is, and there's a lot of not giving a fuck. Well, what the vocals, how they might go in harmony and stuff. It's just what we like, really.
Yeah, if there's one thing that like the digital music age has given us, it's allowing bands to do more off their own backs kind of thing and get music out. There's loads of bands out there that are self-releasing music. And while I get that, making a living from music is, unless you're fucking Iron Maiden, it's kind of gone out the window, but at least there is the opportunity to get it out there. There's so many great bands around now that, maybe 10 years ago you wouldn't necessarily come across. So there are positives to it, even though the music industry is probably murkier than it's ever been.
Yeah, well, I guess it just takes the pressure off everyone to make decisions based on what's going to be commercial. You can because it's going to get released anyway. You can just do what the fuck you like.
Yeah.
And I personally think if you have got a problem with that, people aren't going to like it, then maybe you might be doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you think if it never passes the bedroom, this is still rocking. I'm going to turn it up loud in my car, But people seem to like it, which is amazing.
I'm interested in where the band name came from. Is it anything to do with the fact that the Welsh Guards have a goat as their major?
But there's a couple of things.
Well, there was a pub in Cardiff. Me and Simon used to live in Cardiff, and there was a pub right by the castle there that was called the Goat Major, and after said Goat Major. So yeah, it does originally come from that. Yeah, the goat that's the massive.
Was that next to? Was that just up the road from O'Neill's?
Yeah,
the Irish pub.
Yeah, it was up the road.
Yeah. I remember now. Yeah. So I went to university. I went to uni in Cardiff. So.
Oh, what university did you go to?
I went to Cardiff.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, I went to University of South Wales in Cardiff as well. So.
Right.
And so that we'd have probably been there around the same time. I don't think the pub's there anymore. I think it's some kind of change.
No, it's called the Bluebell. I think now they've changed it.
Right.
But it doesn't make such a good band name, does it? The Bluebell.
Yeah. The Bluebell.
I remember going to was it Wednesdays Metros?
Yeah,
for Metros. Remember Metros?
Yeah, Sweatros.
It was like the tunnel. It was like a tunnel, wasn't it?
Yeah, the fucking tunnel. Yeah. What was the other? I remember seeing Niall at Eiffel Back. That was quite funny.
Oh, amazing!
And then there was and then CF1s was good as well. That was more for a Saturday night.
Yeah, I used to spend a lot of time in those clubs like Bogies and stuff, and there was a lot of bands coming through there, like Hate Eternal. I saw there, and there was a bit more of a touring, a bit more of a metal scene, I think.
So does that scene still exist? Tell us a little bit about the scene kind of in and around there and where you're from. And
well, we actually funny story, like we actually got booked for a gig in Cardiff because they thought we were from Cardiff because we were called Goat Major. Then afterwards we were like, oh yeah, we got a fucking 2-hour drive home now. You're like, what?
Oh, and your
So-
friends coming, you're like your friends and like families, like, no, it's just us three. See you at the front.
Those are the dues you got to pay, though.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's all part of it. But nah, it's fucking, it's
Like, are bands still playing at the Newport Centre? Because like that's got to be one of the
I think that's
most
closed down, isn't it?
bizarre
the old
venues.
leisure centre, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never actually went to a gig there. I mean, I've heard legendary stories about
I saw
Pantera getting
I
banned from Newport.
I saw
and things.
Machine Head
Yeah.
there. I
Yeah.
saw Pantera. I saw
Oh,
Sepultura. This is the thing. Pantera played the Leisure Centre.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I went to a few gigs there. It was weird because like you could see the swimming pool and like people swimming, and it'd just be full of like hundreds of metalheads, like looking through the windows down
That's
the swimming
bizarre.
pool. Yeah,
A post mosh swim. You know, you got to sort of
Yeah.
muscles,
Yeah.
and you know, it's
Yeah.
time for that.
I remember going to see. I went to see Pantera there in 2000 and it was 2001, and then obviously a lot of people are going back to Cardiff, and we all got on the train and we all just sat in the first class carriage, and the guard comes on and he goes, "No, you haven't got a ticket. You can't sit there." And about like 50 of us go, "You really going to move us, are you?"
Yeah, that train ride back from Newport after a gig can be pretty mad.
Yeah.
You can see that the normal people will go into separate carriages, and then there's usually one of those carriages that ends up getting hot boxed by the time he gets to Cardiff Central.
I remember that there used to be like it was like a hardcore punk venue, and it was down. If you went down past the Prince of Wales Wetherspoons down the other side of the station, they go under like a bridge.
Yeah,
And I remember being, I can't remember the name of the place, but I remember being in there for like a hardcore all dayer, and fucking Lost Prophets were there, picking up fucking 15-year-olds.
Oh,
And then like, you know, later when it comes out and you're just like, oh yeah, I kind of get it now. Yeah.
yeah. Let's cut that one. Stop there with that one before that goes too far. Fuck, no.
But like they
I knew that was
weren't
going to
playing,
come up
they
in
were just
conversation.
there. They weren't playing, they just turned up, and they were like expecting like everyone to be like, oh my God, the Lost Prophets.
Yeah, I heard they were very much like that when I was some of the boys when I was in uni. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. The South Wales scene, though, from what I gather, it's relatively healthy. I think you've got Fuel Rock Club in Cardiff, anyway, which does seem to pull some quite decent stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
But what about further out where you guys are from? Is there anything going on out there?
Swansea's not too bad. You know, there's quite a few bands starting to go to Swansea now.
Yeah,
touring bands.
Good.
But yeah, that's pretty much nothing further past Swansea. Really,
No.
is there?
There's one bar that we play in Neath called the Duke, and that brings out in like a good like Saturday night crowd, I think, or a Friday night crowd.
Yeah,
you know, not so much like specific fans and everything, but just it's probably the only rock venue that's down there, and it's dilapidated, I would say. And you know, but we love playing there. It's really good. But in terms of like down our way, the odd event which might have a at like a hub or something, like a little gig that will have bands of different genres, that type of thing, if more exists.
Mm-hmm.
And probably people that don't really like heavy side of music, to be honest.
Oh no, we don't. No, we don't want that kind of thing.
No.
I mean, so that means you guys are forced to travel, I suppose. Are you looking to get out around the UK a bit and play some shows and get your name out there a bit?
Yeah, definitely. That's sort of like the next sort of thing that we want to do. Really, is like just like a little UK tour, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've played some shows, and we played a show in London. That was really good, but it was more of an event. But that was like something that we really wanted to do. Was like, oh, let's take this to London. That'll be interesting. And
It's a
We've made some
necessary
good-
evil, isn't it? London.
Yeah, we've
know.
made some good contacts from it. In fact, tomorrow
Great.
evening we're playing with a Troy the band, who are based in London. We're playing with them in Swansea tomorrow night at a free show, and I think they're on a UK tour to promote their new album. So yeah, I think we would like to get out and about a bit more. Maybe get an agent behind us. You know,
There you go.
booking
If anyone's listening, get involved because it's
yeah, that would be.
Why
that'd
don't
be
you
great.
get involved
yeah.
for the next one in Chelmsford?
We'll come to that. We'll talk about that off air. I was gonna say you're doing Desert Fest in 3 weeks as well,
Yeah,
which is
can't wait
fucking
for
cool.
countdown's on. Yeah,
Yeah, I think
looking
a
forward
couple
to
of us
it.
will be there.
Yeah, we'll be
Cool.
there cheering you on.
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, brilliant.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I played Desert Fest with the band Hark that I was in on the Sunday, and I couldn't believe how packed the venue was on a Sunday. We opened up in the Underworld, and it was sold out, and I couldn't believe it. That everyone's so dedicated to just get into these shows, like not just the headliners, the early bands. So that's going to be really exciting for us because we are opening up the Black Heart on Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah, I think you will get a good turnout, especially on the Sunday, because it's what I think it probably kicks off. What time are you on? Sort of 2ish, something like that, is it?
I don't think we've actually been told yet, have we?
No, but I think it is around 2:00. Yes, that's what I'm expecting. Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, I
so
think
by that point, hangovers are past, haven't they? And everyone's a bit sort of more with it, and
yeah.
Yeah, and you described it really well because I think Desert Fest is just like a fanatical fan base. It's
Yeah.
such a great event. Every year it's packed, and just as you've said, all of the venues are full up. Everyone's really dedicated to it, and they all want to go and show their support. It's brilliant.
is Mob playing as well? You're on a Sunday as well, aren't you?
We're doing the Sunday as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's come see you. Yeah.
I wouldn't.
So it'd be drinks ahoy
Who
then,
did you sleep with to get that to happen?
Steve.
You are.
Have you been pimping out Wolfman again? Has
No,
Wolfman been on the
nothing
fucking
to
prowl?
do with us. This is Davy Grudge and his stake-based friends. Yeah. So no, it'll be a good weekend. It's my first Desert Fest, to be fair. I've wanted to go so many times over the years, but
It's
this is
fantastic.
gonna be my first one. I'm really looking forward to it. And you get to go home and go to bed every evening and not in a stinking fucking tent and
Yeah. That's
shitting a hole in the ground and all that. Yeah, it'll be wicked good fun. So you want to get out on the road, do a little bit, but I can only assume you've obviously all got day jobs and whatnot. Trying to get that balance right, that's the tough thing, isn't it? It's you kind of, I suppose, you're limited to weekends and whatnot, but
yeah, it's hard work. Yeah, we do what we can. We'll do a gig like during a weekday, and then we have to travel back because we've got work the next day. And fuck it, we'll just do it. We'll just be knackered and work. It don't matter. It's only for a day.
Yeah.
Whatever,
Yeah.
and it's always worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we love it, I think, as well, don't we? I personally do. I there's a lot of bands or people are making music, and there's a lot of bedroom production and things going on, and I've played in projects that never really get out of the past the computer. And I think if you're not playing your amps live or visiting every McDonald's on the M4 in the middle of the night, that's where it really feels like this is you're bloody grinding, half an hour's work.
Yeah, it's madness, isn't it? It's probably not. There's a lot of people listening to this will be in bands and have done that and just can completely relate to that. It's like, yeah, you travel the 200 miles across, you do the show, you go back the same night, and you get up the next morning for work, knackered, red-eyed, hungover, and all that business. It's just kind of what you do, isn't it? It's
Flame Bearer Saturday night, weren't they, in Bristol? Had to get the 10:30 train back to London, so they were like, pack up all their gear, a bit of merch, get out, get the train.
But you mentioned that, like bedroom bands and kind of people producing at home and stuff like that. But you know, having an audience, it's the final ingredient of all of it, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
spend all this time writing the songs, creating something, to go out and play it in front of an audience and watch it connect and watch it land. That's the biggest thrill, surely.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's, like I said earlier, obviously, I like to write the music. I think when we write the music, we write it for ourselves. I think that maybe that's a bit softens a bit when you start to see people's reaction, and you're like, wow, you owe them something here.
Yeah, completely. I mean, people are. It's great to see that people are turning up to shows now. That there's a lot of places around the UK which are starting to pop up as well, not outside the obvious towns and cities. Some of the bigger bands are doing more regional shows and picking out these odd little towns. And we saw Creeper in Margate a couple of weeks ago, and it was virtually sold out. You got bands like Trivium who did some odd towns around the UK last year, and it's good. I think it's just connecting with the people, and bigger bands doing smaller shows. It just, I don't know, this is what you kind of need now. You can go to these stadium shows and pay 150 quid a ticket to watch a band that are half a mile away, but that connection, you can't beat it. And this weekend, the Griffin was the first time we've been to a gig there, and I just love the way that place is set up.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Works really, really well.
Yeah, they're so limited with space, and I think John, he always treats us really well, and I think he's really
top geezer.
Yeah, he really gets it, and I don't have any complaints about it. I love playing it. It's always hot and sweaty when it needs to be. You don't need many people to fill the room, but people really appreciate the music as well, and that venue, I find. People that haven't seen you before, and they come up and speak to you, and it's really good atmosphere.
I love the fact it's got a carpet as well. There's no sitting around on beer on a wooden floor. It's got a fucking carpet.
It is like a bedroom. It feels like you're in someone's bedroom a little bit, doesn't it? It's really cool.
Yeah, the sound is great in here, though. Like,
it's loud. It's fucking loud.
Yeah.
Those small little cabs and like a small PA in there, but it doesn't need much more, really. I don't think it's a little room.
It doesn't. My ears were ringing after last weekend. Well, they haven't almost stopped ringing now, so it's always a good sign, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be, but it is. There's a few things that we often grumble about on this podcast, and it's always interesting to get other people's views, especially those in bands. We just the general state of play now, and in particular things like cuts on merch in venues. And you guys are fans as much as being in a band, as same as we are. How do you think you'd feel in that situation if you rocked up at a venue in a few years' time and they said, look, we're going to take 12.5% off the sale of all your shirts? How do you think that would make you feel as an artist?
Yeah, I've heard of like this happening. I think bands are like just adding an extra couple of quid,
and that's it. It gets passed on.
Yeah, which is it's not ideal, but
no. I know. I think my initial thought to that was like, well, that would be like that's fine because there won't be any sales because I'll be selling them from the internet at the same price, and if you come up to me, I will sell it for the same price regardless.
Yeah.
I just think that's just a nasty tax, really.
Yeah.
I think it's silly.
It's leeching.
It is, yeah.
And the other thing as well, okay, so you want 12, they want 12% of the merch. Okay, you get 12% of the bar sales.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
like they it's something for nothing. They're paying. Someone is paying a band to play live. They're then selling tickets. That's where they make their profit.
Yeah,
that's the kind of like social contract you have with a venue. You don't then need to go and say, "Oh, we want your merch as well." What have they done to entitle themselves to that? It's not their intellectual property. They've put no labor into it. It's just greed. And it's also stupid because then someone's going to just go and set up a table outside and go, right, you can just go and buy it. Like those pubs that bands go to the pub next door and go, right, can we sell our merch here and we'll give you 2%?
Yeah, that's been happening.
So
I think bar it raining every day, in the UK. I can't see why you wouldn't just set it up on the side of the street. I mean, I'm talking small scale there. Probably, maybe it's illegal, but just set it from the back of the van. Do a proper Del Boy on it, like.
Yeah, it's been happening in pubs, in like say at the back of a van. It's being driven to it. It's like going back to the day, when you used to come out of gigs and there's some geezer out there with a t-shirt and it was £5 and you stick it in the washing machine, it disintegrate. It's like going back to those good old days kind of thing. But
do you know what, the tables have turned there, because I'm starting to see those guys out and about again.
They're coming back, yeah. Yeah,
but get this, the quality now is actually better if you buy it. We put this to the test. My girlfriend bought a t-shirt outside a gig, and we got it home. It was laundry day. We were just washing some stuff, and it's like the t-shirt that she bought off a rug in front of the venue is like such better quality than anything we bought inside a venue for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
So
yeah.
You can afford to have a browse now,
Yeah. That's it.
Like I said, it's always interesting to get people's opinions, because some people are for it, and if it's about getting more merchandise, promote it. But most people know.
So, like the merch thing is Tregenza's cross to bear.
It is a little bit. Yeah, it is. It is. I do keep bringing it.
Well,
up.
like, what are your other generally? Yeah, I know it does, but generally speaking, what are your pet peeves and stuff in general about metal and gigs? It's like one of my ones is fucking glow sticks. Glow sticks.
That's a bit niche.
Down at the front of the gig, and there's some fucking cunt with a glow stick. What about you guys? Have you got any?
Well, like pet peeves that you see.
Yeah, just about like metal in general, or like gigs, or.
Can't think of any.
No, not really. I mean, if I had to think
you're too nice.
of something, it would be maybe people just not like communicating when you turn up at a venue for sound check. Like people who might not. I mean, I'll just say hello to the first person and introduce myself. I've had it a few times recently, and I thought, well, that's like, we don't know each other. This is really weird. We're working together, At least say like, oh, hi mate, I'm Dan. Can I use your cab or whatever? Yeah, mate, that's absolutely fine. Like we spoke about on the internet, but ghost me. I just find that so bizarre. Like,
sign of the times, though, isn't it? We're all terrified of actually one-on-one, face-to-face contact these days. After
we can't do that.
No. But you're right. It's just common courtesy, isn't it? At the end of the day.
That's fading. That's almost gone. Common courtesy.
Yeah.
Like,
let's turn our attention to the future then. What's next? You mentioned having new music in the pipeline. Are you going to approach that in the same way? Is it you're going to use the same team? You've got anything different planned for that?
Well, we pretty much like got the songs pretty much to where we want them to be.
Yeah.
So we're just like working on different sounds, different guitars, different tones, things like that.
Yeah, maybe. Sorry, John.
Yeah, we're in no rush to record it. Ritual had a long come out, so there's no rush to release a second album. So yeah, we got a bit of time to play with.
Yeah, I think in terms of using the same kind of team and everything, or the guys who are involved in it, I'd be more than happy to stick with it. I mean, it's a nice chance to hang out with your friends, and it's a nice product to have at the end, and it's really fun to do. I think we had a good laugh doing it last time.
Yeah,
it's nice, and it's as like not just messing around or anything, but like it was actually fun. It wasn't stressful to do, which is like a really nice. I don't think I felt that much in band before.
What about the gear for the nerds? Because some people may ask the gear you use, because the sound that the three of you produce is so filthy and it sounds so big that people will want to know what kind of gear you use.
Yeah, well, I just use I got a Laney Ironheart head which I use. I run a Morley fuzz wah pedal through it. I've got the fuzz turned on all the time, so that's what gives it that dirty sound.
You definitely got the fuzz.
Yeah.
Yeah. And live, I've got a Facebook Marketplace special PV Mark III that's older than my girlfriend. I've got, and I've got an Ampeg SVT4 Pro. Really nice bit of gear, and I've had it for years. But I did a tour with Conan and talking to Chris and Conan, and he was like, "Yeah, I got this for like £70," and I'm like,
right,
okay, maybe I'm wasting my money. So I'll buy something off Facebook Marketplace, and I haven't played anything else since.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, all my gear is off Marketplace.
Yeah,
no, I fucking never buy new.
No,
right.
And then I run the head through a Ampeg 8x10, and I go into an Aguilar aggro pedal for the distortion, or a big muff, like an original big type style big muff. And I use a Dunlop Crybaby, either the bass one, or I've just acquired another one for all the wah parts, or more, not so much just the wah, but to give it more like a filter sweep kind of sound.
Yeah.
Which fattens it up if you use it right on some of the single notes when that Jammie plays, especially on the higher octaves. So that's what we try and. It sounds fat. I think it sounds really fat.
Yeah,
especially that like heavy grit, but with loads of mids on the bass guitar, so it's not so swampy.
Yeah,
and I think that's our. I'd rather it sound like a Marshall if I could than a bass, So I think that sound, like if you see Motorhead, they have that kind of sound, and I just think, well, I kind of want to sound like that in a lower tuning.
Yeah, I think sometimes you can go and see sort of doom bands, and there's so much low end on it that it can get quite uncomfortable. So yeah, having that bit of mid range, it does make a difference, because my ear is fucked anyway, and so I need to be able to hear things properly now, otherwise it just gets lost in the mix.
Yeah, no, I think that's one of the big things that contributes to our sounds, is that kind of match, between the guitar and the bass, because it is only two instruments. Therefore, I think they should be more similar attached, in sound.
right.
I think that we do achieve that with the fuzziness and the low end of the guitar, and then dropping the low end on the bass, pushing the mids and the treble on the bass.
It just it kind of glues it all together. So
that's it.
Yeah,
I think that's probably why the demo sounded so good as well.
Yeah,
because it was.
That was just a mic in the room.
Yeah,
picking everything up.
As long as it's in tune, it just sounds like really one heavy, cool instrument.
It's fucking cool. What about getting outside the UK? Would you like the opportunity to get on some festivals and things like that?
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We have looked at a couple of people that got in contact with us, but it's probably short notice for the summer now, really, in terms of sorting stuff like that out. But no, we'd love to do that. As I said, me and Simon toured with Hark. With Hark when we played with Conan in Europe, and that was my first experience of playing over in Europe, really. And it's just the way that the fans treat you, the staff treat you, and the way that it's just accepted and embraced as an art was just overwhelming. You come to this like weird little island, and it's like, what is going on here? Like in the UK, like this is like a strange place compared to all these other places. So I'd definitely love to go back. I mean, that's got to be the home of rock music, really,
Well, yeah, I mean, but the thing is now, obviously, post Brexit, everything's much more of a challenge now, isn't it? Getting into mainland Europe, and we've had bands in here that have talked about some of the stuff they've had to do, the hoops they've had to jump through, and the risks they've had to take just to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels like, why make it so difficult?
Yeah. We haven't come up to we haven't been faced with that yet. It does sound like a bloody minefield.
Well, it goes both ways, though. It's like European bands can't come over here.
No, No.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Well, actually, no bands can come where I am, but you've got no back. You know, it's what we've spoken to a couple of European bands on the podcast, and they're like, you know, they'd love to do it. They just can't. It's just the tax issues and
yeah, it's all visas and taxes.
Yep.
And,
Making it very difficult. It's the
yeah.
same for US bands as well when they come over here. They're no longer doing UK and Europe. It's one or the other now, unless
Yeah.
you know they're massive and they can swallow that cost. But we're missing out. There's so many great tours I see now.
yeah,
You see
look, but yes,
European
but
tour,
we've got
but-
so much more control.
Yeah.
We've got so much more control now. We've taken it back.
Yeah, great.
But listen, if you're a British band and you want to play in Rwanda, there's no problem. Okay.
There will be a scene there. You know, I've seen things about Africa. There will be a scene there somewhere.
Oh, damn right. Yeah.
You know, untapped resources and all that. There's going to be all sorts of unusual metal scenes around the world. There's bound to be. I'd love to go around the planet just finding. Even on YouTube, you can do it. I found a Samoan metal band. You know,
Yeah.
we're not talking the Booyah tribe. We're talking an actual group of Samoan tribesmen that formed a metal band on their island.
yeah. That's
So
cool.
it gets everywhere. Heavy metal is like it's the ultimate sort of fucking global thing, isn't it? You know,
Yeah, it connects the world.
it does, and as cliched as that is, it's true.
There's no coincidence that the fact within 2 months of me arriving in Saudi Arabia, the first metal band played in Saudi Arabia. I bring metal to the masses. That's why I'm out. I'm bringing it to the desert. You know.
Yeah, steady on. Yeah, but then out there you've had. So that was Cryptopsy, wasn't it? Was the first show out there?
Yeah.
And obviously
then
Metallica played out there as well.
This is the thing. Metallica played a few weeks afterwards, right? And then like, oh, Metallica were the first metal band. No. Cryptopsy beat you to it. You know. And that was there's a promotions company called Heavy Metal Arabia, which I'm trying to get in touch with, and they won't answer their damn emails.
Yeah, it's because I know who you are.
Yeah, so no, I mean a lot. There's like apparently there's I mean everything in Dubai is the world's biggest now, but apparently there's the world's biggest vinyl shop in Dubai. So, yeah, it's like 500,000 copies for St. Anger.
Yeah. Well played.
Oh, you know that? Did you hear about that? You know that thing they're supposed to be building in the desert out here, like the 100-mile long line. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's been cut down to 10 miles now because
it's been cut down to 10 miles.
Oh, it's like it's a kilometer. It was supposed to be 100 kilometers long. Now it's only going to be a kilometer. So what was all the fuss about?
It was like Spinal Tap. They just drew the wrong measurements on the
yeah. Like,
a couple of sort of silly questions before we wrap it up. If you could tour with any band, dead or alive, who would it be?
Fucking hell. Ozzy, like during his 80s period, I bet that was pretty wild.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah. Or I don't with this band in particular, or just any other.
Well, yeah, with Goat Major, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be quite good laugh actually with Ozzy.
Yeah,
a good mix, you know.
Do you think you'd survive it?
Yeah, I enjoy it. Yeah.
What a way to go out though.
Yeah, if you're gonna go out that way.
Yeah,
the best way, wouldn't it? But yeah, look, I mean, we'll wrap it. I won't keep you too much longer. Like I said, just you got the floor, haul your wares. People want to check you out. I mean, we've sort of been raving about you guys because we, like I said, we fucking love Ritual, and the more people that hear it, the better. And
cheers.
Like I said, the floor's yours. If you want to throw it out there, go for it.
Cool.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you like us, come and see one of our shows. If you can't come and see one of our shows, listen online. or book us, and we will come and play live for
Yeah.
you. You know,
Book us and we will come.
yeah, we shall come. Yeah, we've got plenty of merchandise available, obviously, online, and we are well into the completion of the completing stage of the second album. So stay excited for that. And I think also we're going to have a lot more videos with the new stuff, new material as well, because we really like making videos. So that's something to look forward to.
Oh, in the part of the world you're from, you've got the landscape, haven't you, to make great fucking doom metal
Yeah,
videos.
Yeah, yeah. It lends itself very well to it, I think. So
me and Padre are both from Cornwall, so it's sort of very similar kind of landscape down there. It's almost like missing the trick.
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Not that there's any metal scene down there, is there?
No, whereabouts in Cornwall are you from?
I'm from Redruth, and he's a bit
I'm
further
from
west.
Hale.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Yeah, but my girlfriend went to university in Cornwall, and her dad lives there, so we always go to New Lynn and Penzance. Love it down there.
All the way down far. See, Penzance has got a great music history, certainly with punk.
Right.
In the late 70s and early, the Pistols used to play down there. All of that, the Clash have played down there. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what the venue was called. It was down on the waterfront. But yeah, like next time you're down there, look into this. There's a real rich history.
The
with
old mill, wasn't it?
Is that what it's called? I don't know. I can't remember. But it
was what it was. Was it the barn?
No. It's not the barn. This is an old club that was down. It was right down on the seafront, and it's quite legendary. Even Queen.
It's where the meadery is, or was.
No.
It's not that one.
But hold on. This makes for a great fucking podcast. This does me googling on a fucking Winter Gardens. That's what it was called.
Okay.
The Winter Gardens. Yeah, it was down on the seafront, and yeah, everybody. Punk bands in the late 70s played there. So it's one of the few places in Cornwall that's actually got a bit of music history.
What they need to do is they need to turn St Michael's Mount into a music venue.
Oh, can you imagine that?
That's not a bad shout. That is
Man of War on St Michael's Mount.
yeah, and how are we going to get to the gig? And a boat turns up, and there's just a guy dressed as the boatman crossing the river Styx. You got to give him a silver coin. Takes you across.
Yes.
A Monomartha playing on the ship constantly as you go back and forth.
Yeah, and it's surrounded by Viking longships that are just on fire.
See, I told you it's a missed trick. It's a missed fucking trick.
There you go. And Goat Major are first on the bill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Some of that. Right. Look, guys, thanks for giving us up your time on a Friday evening. It's been a lot of fun. It's been good to hear about all the album because you're one of the coolest new bands that we've heard this year. So kudos to you, and we wish you all the best for the future. And we hope we'll see you at Desert Fest.
Yeah,
if we see you around, we'll buy you a beer, and good luck with it all. And I hope it all. I hope the fucking world is your oyster, guys. I hope it really works out.
Oh,
really
thank you.
Before you go, I just had an image pop in my head. So St Michael's Mount is a gig venue, yeah, right? Just imagine if it was like a gig venue back in the 80s, and these guys are playing with Ozzy, right? And they go and find Ozzy, and he's passed out on the floor, and they're like, "What the fuck is all that white shit around his mouth?" And they're like, "Oh, it's clotted cream. He's had 8 creams."
Fuck's sake.
I don't know. Ozzy, he's lived this long and he's put himself through that much substance abuse, and the thing that kills him, the thing that knocks him off, is a dodgy pot of clotted cream.
It's the cholesterol. It's the fucking cholesterol.
Yeah. Gets all of us.
Put the jam on first.
Thank you very much for hosting us, guys. It's really it's really good.
No, you're always welcome, and you have to come back on again. There's some things that we do on this podcast that I think you'll be up for. So we'll definitely have you back on again.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep listening. Thank you.
Yeah, fucking right. Yeah, good. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Don't go anywhere yet. That's about it for this week. Next week we'll look back on April, I think. Are we there yet? End of the month? It is the end of the month next week, isn't it? Yeah. And there's been some fucking cracking releases this month as well. So we'll have a bit of a chat about that next week. And yeah, until then, thanks for listening. As always, stay metal. See you next week.